Welcome into the Tournament of Champions here in Brigham City, Utah. We're at John A. Gullo Medal Court for the gold medal match in the men's double pro. Moore and Wright taking on Johns and Yates. Dane Stewart here, joined by Christine Barksdale and Joey Farias.
Perfect.
I'm going to get that. I apologize.
No, that was perfect.
Hey, we've got a big-time match. These two played in the winner's bracket final. Moore and Wright won that. A rematch from that. Tell us what we should expect to see here in this gold medal match.
Well, you know what? I'm going to defer that to Joey. He's played against these guys a little bit more. I want to hear his thoughts.
So we obviously know the game plan from Daniel and Matt, where Matt's going to be stacked on the ad side, meaning the left-hand side, with his forehand in the middle. Daniel's going to be playing more of the role of trying to set up shots and set up opportunities for Matt to get in there with his big forehand. Kyle and Ben the first time played pretty straight up. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Ben stack a little more and put his forehand in the center for longer runs in this matchup here. But yeah, I think they're going to really try to isolate Daniel, and if they go to Matt, to push him out, that way he doesn't stick his forehand in the center.
We've got a couple of pairs that have had a lot of success as individuals and as doubles in this tournament over the years. It'd be fun to see this gold medal match. Again, Christine, what are you most looking forward to in this particular matchup?
Well, you know, there's a lot of really, it's interesting because Daniel tends to be a little softer player, and is exactly as Joey said, he's looking to set up Matt Wright's big forehand. It's got to be one of the hardest hit balls in pickleball. And so I do think we're going to see a lot of the bing bang points. I think we're going to see a lot of dinking, moving into some fast hands, back into some dinking, and that's some of my favorite points to watch. You know, we're going to see a lot of scrappiness. Kyle is very, very scrappy. Ben is very fluid. The teams are actually kind of evenly matched in their styles a little bit, with everybody having the ability to be aggressive, but I'm just looking forward. I think these points are going to be long, tense, and I'm going to be nervous over here.
Well, I was going to ask, I mean, you guys talked a little bit about Moore, Wright, and maybe I missed it, but talk about the Johnson-Yates duo and how they'll play with each other and how they may try to attack Moore and Wright.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm thinking, again, that I feel like Kyle's a little bit more of the setter and Ben Johns is a little bit more of what I call the spiker. Kyle's going to be looking for ways to create opportunities for Ben to take over and finish points. They're both excellent defensive players, which will serve them well against Matt. Because Matt's got such a big, heavy shot, their defense, if they can get the ball back in low, they're going to be able to get back into points that you think they're out of.
Yeah, I think one of the big things to look for is Kyle Yates early. He has the ability to take over a match as well as Ben, where if he feels that he's feeling hot, he can really get that forehand and backhand going, and with his movement especially, and cause some chaos.
We are underway. There's a breeze here. As that one worked. I thought that was wide, but fit that in the first point.
As you can see, look, Ben is getting stacked to the right side, like I called earlier.
Joey's proven himself right.
Yeah, that is the plan for this.
Hey, you got to take advantage of that when you can, right?
Well, but true statement, but he's right. We've seen Ben, we're stacking Ben to what they call the strong side.
Yep.
Right, and as you started to mention, it's about 86 degrees. We got a little breeze here. To me, this court's tough this time of day right now. You've got shadows on the court. You've got a little bit of sun peeking over still. You can lose the ball easily in all of that going on. So,
go ahead, sorry.
No, just saying, so you'll see some shots maybe get missed that you wouldn't normally see just because the shadows can create issues out there.
That wind left to right on your screen at the back of Johns and Yates, and boy, good start here for Johns and Yates. They're at 4-0. They've got to win 2 out of 3 to force a game to 15, do Johns and Yates, as there's the side out, and we'll see the first service in the game for Moore and Wright.
It's quite a little run they got out of the gate.
Yeah. Moore with the service.
It's the second one Daniel let go. What do you think's going on there?
like you said, it could be a little bit of that shadow, especially if you look at Yates' forehand side right now. It's kind of in the sun, and then Daniel's completely in the shadows.
So that ball is passing
side.
from the sun to the shadow.
Yeah, just losing it a little bit.
Long. You talked about, you think we're going to see a lot of power at the kitchen, maybe the first time we've seen that in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're gonna see Matt kind of powering it up towards Kyle and trying to get into that kind of hands battle like that, and then Ben doing the same to Daniel. And it's gonna be who can scrap out a little bit more, Daniel or Kyle.
And with Matt's height, it gives him a little bit of advantage. He's got a little more reach into the non-volley zone. Definitely dangerous to pop anything up to him.
Side out as that one into the net. Service back with Johnson Yates here. 4-2-1. That one got up a little bit, and Johns took care of business.
Definitely dangerous to pop anything up.
5-2.
That's worked a couple times for him today, though. That one just sailed a little bit long.
Side out, coming over now with Moore and Wright.
Now, Joey, did you have the opportunity to play either of these teams today?
Not today, but I've played them plenty of times before.
Yes. I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's not always fun.
Move to second service here. It'll be Wright.
And the bronze medalists of the day, Eric Lang and Steve Deacon, played a very, very close game with Kyle and Ben early in the day. Great duck, but
How about
stayed
some of their
in.
own medicine right there,
A little of their own medicine. And the wind helped out a little bit. We got a big breeze behind Ben and Kyle.
It's been there for every gold medal match today. We saw in the senior, played a pretty big factor in that match. Great job by Yates, but eventually gets overpowered by Wright.
I definitely feel like that's something Kyle and Ben want to stay out of.
Correct, especially like Christine's saying, Matt with a little bit more reach than Kyle, and it's a big advantage in that kind of rally.
Oh, great get. Boy, John's filled in nicely and now trying to keep. Hey.
Wow.
If he could have gotten out of the way, which he wanted to badly, that ball would have sailed out. But what amazing, that's the athleticism we were talking about with Kyle Yates.
Yes.
The balls he just scrapped out there, phenomenal. He makes it look easy.
Man, some of the quickest and just best feet in the game, where he just knows where he is at all times, completely in control of his body while he's on the run that quickly.
Yeah, he was able to not only get to the ball, which most of the population couldn't even get there. He gets there and hits a controlled shot back over the net.
Absolutely.
You feel like as a spectator, it felt like there were 4 winners in that rally, and they were able to fend them all off. Meanwhile, how about a nice run here by Moore and Wright as they take the lead, 6-5. Still on their second service with Wright.
Number 9, Pickleball Central, sponsored by Pickleball Central, Coach Schaefer, referee.
Side out. See if John and Yates can respond after that run.
See him just crossing over that tee. That was a great shot. Just missed it in the net. Great move. They definitely want to get some points. You don't want to get a side out and not get any points if possible.
They get one there. Back to even.
Go, guys.
We're short.
So, Joey, do you think in doubles and pickleball, you think there's any advantage to big serves? What do you think you're looking for in a serve? Are you deep, hard? What do you think? Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, what you're seeing now in the pro side is, deeper, harder serves. That way you get an easier look at either a drop or even controlling the point with third shot drive that you're seeing more and more often, especially when you're playing with a partner such as Matt or Ben that's longer, that can really crash the middle and kind of poach anything that's set up from your drive.
So they basically, he's the type of player that can put a lot of pressure on making a perfect shot off that hard drive, which is tough to do if the ball's coming at you fast.
Yep, and you're going to see that a lot here, I think, especially with the wind kind of changing. A lot more drives, maybe on Matt and Daniel's side. I think being against the wind, hoping to let the other team kind of push the ball a little deeper.
That's what I've always felt works if I'm playing. I like you can hit into the wind because you can hit as hard as you want, and generally it'll stay in. And they hit the ball, and it comes off their paddle, gets caught in the wind, and sails out.
Yeah, and it's been a big play. I've seen in the mixed and in the men's here, especially in Utah with the altitude. It's a little harder to block some of those hard drives and keep them in the kitchen.
And keep them.
Yep.
8-7-1. Lead back with Johns and Yates.
Pickleball Central is the Pickleball Superstore. Head on over to the booth and see the new suite from the Pickleball Incorporated. A breakthrough design and tournament quality portable net system. Special pricing is available here at the Tournament Champions. Pickleball Central is proud to be a sponsor of the 2018 Tournament Champions.
What really seeing? Oh, that was it was a great point. Everybody got played. They were just playing the ball. There was no picking on anybody, and everybody was right up on the non-volley zone line. It was just playing the right, smart, the ball at the time that they had.
Got a timeout taken by Moore and Wright. Probably a good time to use one as John and Yates have a 9-7 lead here in game number 1. Dane Stewart, Joey Farias, and Christine Barksdale. In our gold medal match here at the Tournament of Champions, the USAPA Tier 1 sanctioned tournament. The winner of this match getting a
pre-registration for USAPA Nationals 2020.
Hey,
I was going to say pre-draw, and I knew I was going to mess it up, so I was like, Christine, just take this one. Just
take it,
finish
Christine,
it.
go.
And talk to them today.
And we do have USAPA certified referee out there, Mark Pfeiffer. Also, I believe the director of the referee program for the USAPA now.
Wow.
They're instituting some new things, learning some new skills, and they're going to make them even better at managing these matches with these tough players.
Set of medals to give away. This is the mixed skill age 3.550 plus. Our bronze medalists are Danger.
That one sent long by
And
Johns.
it's a little bit what we were talking about. The wind helps. If you can't keep those under control, the wind helps just pull those right out for you. If you can drive it into their body, they pop them long.
Move to second service from Johns.
And danger. Head on over to the medal stand on the east side of the championship court, and we will present you with your medals.
Really pushed right.
Now what I like to see here, he was really trying to reset the point so they could get back up to the net, but fell just a little short.
So game point for Johns and Yates.
That's a Jim Hackenberg rule. Never win on the first time you hit 10.
That's right.
They call it page 78 or something like that. I think it's in a book. Jim Hackenberg rule.
Ooh, great stab there by Wright.
Jim's wife is one of the many people in the possibility of getting to be in the Hall of Fame, the Pickleball Hall of Fame this year. Jim is also on that list, I believe.
That's right, Jim and Yvonne both on that list, and rightfully so. I got to learn a lot when I started in Michigan from those two.
They're great people and a great couple. Celebrated, I think, their 70th anniversary this year. Do you think they're nervous, Joey? That's what I want to know. Right now?
I doubt it. I think all four have been in this situation plenty of times.
So they're just playing pickleball.
Yep, they're just out
Nerves aren't in it.
doing what they do.
That's great.
But great job that time by Moore to just recognize and hit one quick and hard off the wrist of Yates.
Rob Schmidt saying it was page 71.
Oh, 71. Oh. Thanks, Rob.
That one turned Kyle a little bit.
Why do you? What do we think made that shot effective on that?
I think Kyle saw him winding up, thinking it was going to go more towards the middle and maybe towards his body. Daniel was able to hook it just enough towards that forehand side that Kyle was not quite ready
prepared
for.
Gotcha. And then got into really far into his body. Mm-hmm.
Great hit, and this has been a game of runs, and right now we're 10 aside. Moore and Wright, and Johns and Yates.
Definitely a good call on a timeout right there.
Each side has one left here in our first game. Anything that you look to do differently, or is that just strictly to try to stop the momentum?
Yeah, that is a little bit of the momentum, and maybe if one of the partners that called the timeout saw something in that play or something that's been working that they've kind of gone away from, maybe a reminder, to go back to that.
I didn't observe the partners talking either side. I saw Matt talk a little bit to Daniel, but I missed Ben talk to Kyle.
Maybe a little bit of a kind of just,
a quick passing comment.
Keep your head up, that was a good shot, not much you can do.
Ben's the strong silent type, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Or as he got dubbed by Murphy Jensen during USAPA Nationals, the silent assassin, if I recall.
That's right.
Murphy Jensen had a whole name for him.
Johns goes on the offensive. Able to push it to
wrong.
second serve.
It was Luke Jensen, by the way. The other Jensen.
They both look the same.
They're practically twins. I'm sure they'd agree.
Playing Josh Perry and Jill Fredrickson. Fredrickson, Perry, Norman Wheeler. Court number 12, sponsored by Selkirk.
Wow.
Carla Walker is our referee.
Ball fell right in the corner.
Wow.
Landed. Looks like it painted the line. Created a new one back there. That was a great point. Good communication. Really didn't even hear them talk, but they seemed to know who was taking that ball back in that deep corner. Ben and Kyle. There's a point. It's a much-needed point right now.
Game point. 11-10 for Johnson Yates.
For game one of the gold medal match here at the Tournament of Champions.
Carrie Phillips and Chris Grohl to the events desk. We need 2 line judges. If you've signed up to line judge or you're available, we have a gold medal match going out, and we need 2 people to help us line judge.
Now we've seen those that's match. Game point. Game point. We've seen those shadows move across the court a little bit now.
Exactly.
Which creates a whole new effect.
Just a tight game with, 2 teams that are, like you said, so equally matched.
Game one to Johnson Yates, 12-10, and it didn't really feel like either side was pushed out of what they wanted to do. That felt like each side had their opportunities, were able to take advantage in that first game.
I would agree with that. I felt like they were using the strategy that Joey predicted over here. We'll give you kudos, Jody. Give you kudos.
Thank you.
They were using the strategies that they predicted, and I think they stuck to a game plan. They didn't. That's what I felt, and I think it was just a matter of who was going to make it execute it better or make a little fewer errors. Now I see Lucy over there giving some tidbits to Matt. Wonder if she's got some advice that's going to change anything right now.
Maybe work on that two-handed backhand.
Right. Hey, we think you need to use a two-handed backhand.
Yeah.
Anything that you guys noticed in that first game that teams might want to look to change or attack? Anything that stood out to you as potential opportunities?
I mean, I think what you're going to see is, I've seen it a couple comments here, I think you're going to see that both Ben and Kyle are going to want to get into this cross-court type rally with Daniel, where Daniel's having to go cross-court and let Ben, maybe a little bit younger, be able to reach a little bit more into Kyle's side to get that forehand in compared to Matt.
Just out of curiosity, I see that they're stacking with Ben, his forehand in the center. But what if they, if Daniel really wants to dink cross court, what if they just put Ben diagonal from him? I don't know. I mean, Daniel might just switch it up and dink straight on. But I think dinking straight on in a guys match is tough because Kyle jumps the kitchen so often and anticipates it so well that I think you want to avoid that. I might be tempted to put Ben in front of Matt just so he cross court dinking with Daniel.
That is very true. But I think what we saw that in the first matchup a little bit. I think once Kyle got in front of Daniel, I think that's when we saw Matt kind of come in on a couple of those cross-court dinks that Ben hit and attack straight ahead at Kyle with his forehand.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Compared to when when Matt's getting a ball,
he's going and he's pummeling Ben.
Exactly.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Good point.
That one drips out, 2-0 from Warren Wright. Great move by Johns.
And there's what you said right there, that down-the-line dink and men's doubles can be very tricky when you have athletic guys on the other side that can just read it and even see it after you hit it. They can still make that jump and punish you.
It's amazing, the anticipation. If I could learn that, I would.
Me too, actually. Absolutely. I've been earned by Tyler Loon plenty of times. And Ben.
Pushed wide. First point for Johns and Yates in our second game.
It's a nice 86 degrees here with a little cross breeze. It's great for the fans that we've got here. And we've got the seats filled around us and behind us and at the ends.
We've had great crowds all week. Another point, 3 straight here.
Instant replay.
Net pushed that one long.
Oh, she went like that. Sorry, I know she did. I went like that? No. You'll look real bad.
So in that case, the lines person did signal the ball was in, even though Matt and Daniel disagreed, and the referee on the job did agree that ball was out. But the lines person, she felt the ball hit the line. And that's a thing that they can do. The players can appeal the call to the referee, and he can either overrule it or hold it as stand, agree with the lines person. It's a nice touch shot on Kyle's part. It's tough to take all that pace off of it.
Boy, John speeding him up, got that paddle up, and was able to finish it off.
Yeah, it's one of the best that, just really gets that ball down if you give him any sort of height. Gets that ball down quick and fast.
3-2-1.
Yeah, looks like we're seeing Ben actually turn it up a notch here.
Yeah, that just shows what happened yesterday. He kind of lost maybe in the semis of mixed doubles yesterday, and then all of a sudden became a new man.
A whole new man.
unbelievable out there when he's really moving and feeling it.
Yes. And you can see him hit his zone, his focus, everything's up.
Well, and as someone who doesn't play, although I did get the paddle out today, hit it around a little bit, his game has a very distinct look to it. I don't know if you would agree with that,
Well,
but it looks differently to me.
I heard this today, and I'm almost going to agree. Somebody said he's very smooth, very solid. You don't see a lot of emotion out of him. They wanted to compare him to the Roger Federer of pickleball. Thought it was an interesting comment.
Yeah, I mean, just his movement, it seems like he doesn't have to move very much for all he does with that ball. It's just so smooth compared to what you see with Daniel and Kyle, where their feet always seem like they're shuffling and getting into position. Ben
He's very
glides
smooth
through that court.
2-5-1.
Nice reset on Kyle's part right there. Got into Matt Wright's backhand on that somehow.
Second service for Moore and Wright, trailing here. Lost the first game, 12-10.
And they're getting nice little lead here. We might be seeing a game to 15. See if they can keep the momentum.
Side out.
Seems to me like that's a good spot. If you can hit it, Daniel's backhand right here. Matt can't quite get to his forehand. You hit it into his body. That seems like a good spot.
Yeah, it's a great spot, and I mean that's what the key is keeping Matt a little bit honest on his backhand side so he doesn't take over that spot and cover that as easily.
And I think the big difference between, men's doubles, that spot doesn't exist in mixed because the woman's just going to move out of the way and the guy's taking that spot. But here, there's a little more respect.
Yeah.
I would believe that you guys don't tend to take as many shots over there.
No, not at all, especially with how guys are attacking these days. Pickleball has become a lot more offensive in the last year and a half.
Agreed.
Being able to hit, cross court down any spot on the court with a lot of different looks.
I see Fred Hartzman's watching. He's the works at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden and helps us with the Pickleball USAPA Nationals at that venue. Hey, Fred. Fred was key in getting us the venue in the USAPA, the venue there at the Tennis Garden.
Yeah, what a beautiful venue that is. So excited to go back this November.
I'm excited about the many changes they've got. Added more courts for them. Added more restrooms, I hear, closer to the courts. Very important items like that. And they go to a lot of trouble at that venue to resurface the courts for this event. That was a great dig on Daniel's part after, I'm not sure who hit that ball, but it generated a lot of spin.
Yeah, I think Kyle ended up taking that over Ben. Ben tried to kind of reach in. Kyle ended up taking it. A little miscommunication, I think.
We don't hear a lot of partner communication out of these two teams. What do you think, though, Jerry? I mean, Joey, guess the partner communications is key.
I think these guys have played with each other, especially Ben and Kyle, played with each other enough to kind of know, depending on their movement and shot, what each other have to do.
Who's doing what?
And then, Daniel and Matt over there have won nationals before together. It's been a little while since they've played, but when you win a tournament like that, obviously you've done something right in the past, and
so you just feel he's got enough time under their belt that they know what the other person's doing, which is the advantage of playing with the same person quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Little miss into the net with that dink. A little expression of disappointment out of Daniel.
Move to the second serve. 5 apiece.
Wow.
Gotta love those rallies.
Yeah.
Oh. Seems like Daniel might have wanted to reset right there instead.
Yeah, maybe those last 5 resets he hit on that point, he got a little sick
like,
of it.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Daniel is one of the best at resetting, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Just great hands and great feet. Always you can see going back, give himself a little more time with Ben and kind of powering the ball at him. And still able to handle them.
Have him long. Johnson Yates back in front.
And those last 2 points, Ben has been able to kind of sneak in and get Matt on his heels, forcing him to either miss the net and push one long.
Service for Matt Wright.
But again, this is another close game, which is exactly what we expect and want to see right now at an event of this stature with pros of this caliber.
Boy, impressive. Moore was able to catch up to that, but couldn't keep it in. Second serve. A quick side out. Miscommunication on that end, or just a shot they weren't expecting?
Yeah, I think it's just a good shot there. Kind of maybe a little miscommunication, thinking one or the other was going to be more covering the center there.
Definitely seeing Johns take the tee on this point after point after point. They caught him on the backhand that side that time.
That's the hardest part, when he speeds it up, for you to be able to control it to his backside and get it behind him. It's very, very tough.
Usually you're just happy to get it back, and usually it goes right back to the forehand.
Exactly.
That lead back to 2 for Johnson Yates.
Oh, we saw Kyle taking over on that point. Just like you said, Kyle has the ability to do.
And time again, and when it comes down to gold medal matches and big moments, Kyle has always seemed to be able to step up and, kind of take over or have some big moments or big contributions in winning. A couple of U.S. Opens, Nationals last year, he came up with a big lob match point down that I will never forget. And
I'm not sure anybody will ever forget that lob. If you watched that match, that was the gutsiest lob and amazing.
Yeah, the guy just seems to show up at the right times and comes to play.
Well, they've done a nice job of regaining that lead here in game number 2. It's up to 3. They've got the serve. 2 points away from forcing that game to 15 winner-take-all here in the gold medal match at the Tournament of Champions. The USAPA Tier 1 sanctioned tournament. Our final gold medal match of the day, of the week, of the tournament here at the John A. Gullo Medal Court. Dane Stewart, Christine Barksdale, and Joey Farias.
We're seeing the team. We have one timeout remaining, 13, 2 timeouts available. Time is in at 9-6-2.
9-6-2. Service from Yates.
Again, he caught Ben on his backhand. If you can get it away from the forehand.
6-9-1.
Feels like we haven't seen this in a while.
What we haven't seen as much of as I was expecting is a lot of long dink rallies leading into some fast hands, leading back into long dink rallies. It seems like once it gets to the fast hands, somebody wins that point.
Yeah, exactly. I think right now you're seeing the two dominant guys right now, which is Ben and Matt here, really taking over and being able to, once it speeds up, they get in there and putting the balls away. And Daniel and Kyle are having a tough time resetting those.
What I wish I had right now is a statistician. It'd be very interesting to know for the team that starts it, how many times they win the point. How many times they win that rally.
3 straight points for Moore and Wright, and we're 9-9. Did the paddles hit each other that time?
I don't think so. I think it was just out of his reach.
Okay.
Kyle ended up hitting a pretty good shot from, I don't know where, his middle of his chest somewhere, in behind him. Wow.
Great job.
Oh, a little miscue.
Yep. Who's taking that?
Wow. What a job defending by Moore and Wright.
And just keep sending those lobs up.
Game point.
Oh, we might be seeing what the fans want. More pickleball.
That's right. Oh, wow.
There we go. Going into game 3.
Oh, what a point.
How about 5 points to end the game from Moore and Wright? They take game 2, 11-9. We are 1 apiece. Game 3 coming up next here in the men's doubles, the gold medal match of the Tournament of Champions. How do you, what's the mentality, or what's the, I don't know, momentum for these two teams coming into game 3? Because a big run by Moore and Wright to end that. I mean, what do Johns and Yates, how do you reset to come into a pivotal game 3?
I mean, the big thing is that, you know, you're basically back to zero, back to a blank slate, and try to, as much as you can, forget what happened the last, couple points, especially when you lose that second game. And go back to the drawing board of what worked, either whichever game you won, that first game that they won, try to go back to what happened. Oh, Kyle's talking about maybe a cracked ball after that overhead. And the ball taking, yep, they're changing balls.
But that happened within the play?
Correct.
Okay.
Look, it sounded like he said they hit about 3 more. They hit several overheads with the cracked balls, and they kept getting it back over.
As a player, I mean, you can't stop and claim that there's a cracked ball, can you?
If he stopped the ball on his side and it was cracked, I think, I'm not sure, because it doesn't affect play.
Only if it impacts play.
Well, wouldn't it impact play if you knew that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's saying. He's saying we had a couple of times.
The referee would have to agree. The referee would have to agree that ball, the broken ball impacted play.
Byron
and that
was
saying. The conversation that they were having there. Because Kyle could be taking a risk.
Correct. By
stopping the ball. So I think Kyle made the right choice by finishing out the point and not stopping play, because the referee might have said, I didn't see it impact play.
Got it.
And unfortunately, with playing with a plastics type ball, we get some cracked balls upon occasion in the middle of a match. So you do need to, it's important to know that rule.
So we head to game 3. Moore and Wright, 11 points away from the gold medal. Johns and Yates would need a game to 15 afterward if they're able to take this game to 11. It will be Yates to serve.
Yeah, like we saw in the previous match in the Senior Men's Open, we saw that the team on our right side has kind of had the advantage. I don't know if it's something with the wind. They've won every game.
Well, the wind hasn't been as forceful in this match as it has been in earlier ones. It was there a little early. It's died down as of late. But no, you're right. That south end of the court has been favorable.
It seems to have been that kind of way all day.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out, is there something earlier that was even really didn't have much wind? The sun was kind of right overhead, and it still seemed like that right end had the south end had the advantage, and I couldn't figure out why.
It's like you're waiting on pins and needles. Who's going to pull it?
Oh, yeah.
The ball stayed in?
I think it just
I
wide.
thought they called out.
Was it? Okay.
Just wide, yeah.
I just missed. I was watching Matt and got a little caught up in noticing that the shadows now, because it's the people, the shadows are actually moving. And I just wonder if the players notice that at all. Great cover. Nice. Good Daniel. Yeah. Great dig on Daniel's part.
A for effort.
And a timeout's been called by Moore and Wright.
You think back to that first game, and it was Johnson Yates, 5-0, I think, on their initial service. Got out to a big lead. Were able to hold off the rally from Moore and Wright, and a 3-0 start here in game number 3.
Yeah, and I think they're realizing, they have to get as much of a lead, especially with the sides being as favorable as they have been. They want to get, as quickly to 6 with giving as little points as they can. Hopefully a 6-0 lead, 6-1 lead. That way they can, try to scrap it out on that north side where it's kind of been unfavorable for both teams.
And you can see the shadows. That's a really good look of Christine, the point you were making earlier of the heads, right? And the staggered nature and as they're swaying and moving. It'd be interesting to get a feel from the players around whether they notice that or not. That's a really interesting point. It is a unique setup here at John A. Gullo Metal Court, and I'm not familiar with other courts nationally, but I would presume this is fairly unique with the sunshade and the staggered seating. And
many times you get some sunshades, but I've never been in a situation where I've noticed that the people are casting the shadows, and I'm sure it happens across the country, but this is the first time I've noticed it and thought about, well, now the shadows are moving on top of the ball moving. I don't know how they're keeping track of it.
Wow. There's that fast reset, that we were looking to see earlier on, and I think you're going to see a lot more of that, especially as the game kind of gets tight and maybe the players get a little nervous now that it's getting so close.
Getting a little bit closer, and now it's a little more definitive.
Correct.
They have a little room up until now. Now you're starting to run out of time.
Yep.
once again, 5-0 to start off the game for Johnson Yates. Remarkable. Moore and Wright haven't had a service in game 3 yet. There's 6, and here comes the change. And Joey, the point you were making, right? Try to give up as few as possible to get that change. And
that's about as ideal as they could
They
get.
accomplished exactly what they wanted to do then.
Yeah, but now here's about just weathering the storm and trying to, probably expecting that Matt and Daniel will make a little bit of a push and trying to get, scrap a couple points. All they need is another 5 and they'll be set. Trying to take this game to a 15.
Close the back row. Line judges ready. Line judges. Very good. All the
So 6-0-2. Still on the initial service of the game from Yates.
Heard someone toss out a little joke. Is that Kyle or Colin?
Yeah.
Ben's brother looks a little bit like Kyle. Ben's brother Colin.
Sent long, and finally the side out for Moore and Wright. That ball might have sailed out.
Wow. Wow.
Goodness.
Well, so let's go at the end of that with good reason. That was some amazing defense right there.
Yeah, Matt read a couple of those attacks and just countered right back, and Ben and Kyle both had the answer to kind of reset and get back into it.
Wow.
Impressive.
That is impressive. I do feel like we're seeing Matt start to hit a little bit harder. You sensing that? Like he's hitting harder?
I mean, with the scoring, so maybe pressing a little bit, trying to really end points, because both these guys are, when you're playing a team as scrappy as Kyle and Ben, where they get a paddle on, it's very likely that's coming back and a lot of the time back in the kitchen reset. You tend to try to do a little bit more sometimes. We all know that Matt can hit a pretty big ball.
Yes, he can. He's also a really nice guy. I played him in a tournament in Texas, and clearly he could have hit me, a few times very hard. He didn't. He chose other shot choices because he has them, and I thought that was very, very respectful of him, and I appreciated that I was not black and blue, because I could have been at the end of that game.
8-1-1.
2020 National Championships.
The net. Changed trajectory, not much Johns could do there. Moved to second service.
As Wesley Gabrielson would say, unlucky.
That's right.
Linesman called that in, and the referee going to overrule that. I don't think the linesman had a good look at it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think he was enjoying the match
Yeah,
a little bit too
like
much.
everybody else.
Because it is pretty exciting right now.
Is.
Aaron Roberts to the event desk. Aaron Roberts.
Great
Kyle
shot.
gave a little look to the lines person just in case it was out. He didn't have a good viewpoint of it, but just in case. Wasn't it? Just a glance over in case they were going to call it out.
Maybe the hope.
With a little hope is what his look was, maybe.
Yeah, there's Matt kind of covering that Daniel's left hip right there.
That shot that was a little bit open earlier, that left hip. Matt has realized that you're not getting his left hip anymore.
Not anymore.
How hard is that when your teammate yells no and you make a play on the ball anyway to just pass that out of your mind and stay engaged in the play? Or do you not even think about
You
it?
have to take it more as a suggestion. If you can get out of the way, or if you're not sure, you don't hit it. If you hit it, then the partners have to just move on and keep playing. It can be a little tricky, but
Yeah.
you just have to realize you're doing the best you can.
Yeah,
And
most of the time I think it feels like it happens as soon as you hit the ball. So then you hear the
You're
no.
already
and
committed, it's
yeah,
kinda too late.
Exactly, and maybe you get a little bit like, dang, I probably should have let that ball go.
But both partners have to just move on, let it go, and keep playing.
Keep playing.
Once you hit it. But I do like it when my partner says it, just in case I'm uncertain about whether I should hit it or not. I'd rather have them say it and even if I go ahead and hit it because I'm already in the motion, but if I'm thinking maybe I'm not going to hit it, I like that confirmation of let it go.
Talk about runs in this third game, 4 straight now for Moore and Wright.
Yeah, here's that push from that south side that we were expecting.
And they're making quite a push.
The wind dead.
Again,
right
I don't know what it is about the south side
yet.
yet.
That's crazy.
Those dinks were getting higher and higher. That's a good reset. Out.
Oh, no.
Those dinks were getting a little dangerously high.
They were. I thought Matt was going to come by and just poach one of those.
Let's go. 9-5-1.
9-5-1. Make it 10. Game point.
Yeah. 10-5-1. Second serve.
A little surprised they haven't called another timeout at this point.
That one long.
I feel like maybe they should have.
Yeah.
Too late now.
They can't take it with them into the next game.
That's right. Hey, I used that in our seniors gold medal match. 12-10, 9-11, 11-5. Johns and Yates force a game to 15 in the gold medal match of the men's doubles pro division. Welcome back, gold medal match. Warren Wright, Johns and Yates. Johns and Yates took 2 of 3, and now we've got a game to 15 for the gold medal here in the men's double pro division. It'll be Yates to start things off. Johns and Yates chose that north side. Remember, the south has been the advantageous side, so see if that's strategic.
They want to end on that. Better side for sure.
Because there's no limit to the number of points you get to play over there as long as you don't lose.
Yep. Absolutely. You can see there kind of Ben and Kyle realizing how important it is to get as many points as they can on this side.
Yeah. They got one. We'll switch at 8. Make it 2. How about the starts for Yates serving games? The starts of games for Yates serving. Just 2 in this one. Remember, first game and third game reeled off 5 out of the gate. This one 2-0 on the more difficult side. He's been strong to start each game today.
Very rare error out of Ben.
1-2-1.
Crowd is still hanging around, watching, maybe thinned out just a smidgen, but still got a lot of people here watching this game to 15.
The backhand betrays Wright.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more dinking in this game. Final game to 15. where everything's on the line here. I think you're going to see a lot less chances taken, a little more high percentage.
Side out.
Until one side or the other gets a little bit of a lead. It's probably see a little more cat and mouse early on.
Absolutely.
2-1-1.
I can hear you, trust me. I can hear you. I can hear you from Phoenix.
Been doing a little check to see if he could reach that.
Second server.
Again, they gave up a lot of ground. They were both about a foot behind that non-volley zone line. That's a lot of ground to give Matt Wright. As tall as he is.
And Scott, I believe first place here gets 3,600.
I was just prepared to look that up, and I was uncertain of the answer, but I was just going to mention that as soon as I looked it up. So somebody was just ahead of me. I had just pulled my phone out to see if I could find out what the prize money is.
He pushed wide and the side out.
1-3-1. Second server. One, 3-2.
Moore serving. Keep digging it out. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Finally.
Amazing point. Had a little net tape that kind of made Ben pop up that final one for Matt to put away.
That's a nice controlled defensive shot out of Daniel.
Side out, comes back over with Johnson Yates.
Something I feel has been really important, and just in watching, Daniel in that shot, and Kyle and Jesse yesterday in the mixed double shots, those big defensive shots, it seems like it's super important to have your weight low and leaning forward. You're not backwards. It just seems like that's when I see the best saves, really, when your weight is shifted forwards.
Yeah, you don't want to be on your heels. Once you get on your heels, your paddle seems to turn, maybe face upward a little more. It's harder to keep that ball down.
Oh, good shot by Moore.
A little enthusiasm out of Daniel right there. Big smile and a let's go.
One of the best backhands in the game, especially in that kitchen.
True statement. He's got fast hands. All these guys do. Yeah.
Another side out. Now Moore and Wright get on that south end, see if they can put together some points.
Second server. Two, 4-2.
In the break, it looked like Moore was looking at his foot, wasn't certain if it was a blister, but we saw that. They pulled the shoe, the sock off. Do you guys see him moving any differently?
Not at all. With this kind of adrenaline at this moment, probably not really feeling it all that much.
They put a little tape on it.
Yeah.
Play
I
right
imagine
through it.
he's not feeling it at all with the, like Joey just mentioned, the adrenaline.
Point.
He might notice it later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But right
absolutely.
now, not even going to feel it.
Over to Yates.
Second server. 5-2-2.
5-2-2 our score here. That went into the net.
Side out.
It's Shannon Wright, Brian Marver, and Lynn
2-5-1.
report to the referee tank for line judging. Also, if you have experience in line judging and are willing to volunteer, we are looking for one more line judge for the gold medal match.
2-5-2. Side out.
Into the net and side out.
5-2-1.
That one was in, hit the line.
Sponsored by Selder,
Nobody questioned it at that point.
19 plus.
Daniel let that get a little high.
We'll take Tyler and Kim Wizard. We'll take on Bill,
6-2-1.
Richie, and Lucy Kitcher. The referee is Bill Plesha. And again, we have a gold medal match on court 7, sponsored by Selkirk. Mixed doubles, 5.0, 19 plus. Kai Hurt and Kim Kester.
Kyle gave a come on, but that ball looked pretty far out to me.
Yeah, linesman in. The ref both
Yeah.
had it.
He's trying to sell it. You know,
He must have
gotta
been.
do what you gotta do.
At this stage in the game, huh? But got a little bit of a lead. He did try to sell it, but it looked pretty out.
Fake it till you make it.
Right.
Great. Now I know how you play, Joey. Good to know about you.
2-6-1.
That's that backhand out of Daniel Moore you're talking about. One of the best in the game at the net. Winner of this event gets pre-registration to the USAPA Nationals. If you can't get enough pickleball, you should come on out and watch that event in Indian Wells, California. $5 admission and pay a little parking fee, but it's going to be another fun day. And that's $5 admission just to the facility. So you get to watch every court you want to see, including the championship court.
Oh wow, is that a change from last year?
They did change that a little bit from last year.
3-6-2.
Food on site from Margaritaville. Maybe some beverages on site.
RC Tony, Edward Jones Investments, Pickleball Development, Box Tag, American Dream Foundation, Selkirk, Pickleball Central, Curry City, Palatech, Gray City, RV, Flex Park.
Now, you watch them, Ben and Kyle, move back a little bit off that non-volley zone line to give themselves a little time to defend. Matt slowed that ball up. They needed to both move back inwards to take that ball, but that's tough adjustment to make.
It is, and I think Matt put it in a good spot, kind of like in the center. You can see both Ben and Kyle kind of hesitate of who was going to take that ball.
See, and here's one of the things I love about pickleball. That ball was long, and linesman called out, and Matt Wright's like, I touched that.
Yep.
Honesty.
Yep.
I didn't see it.
I did see it, but I appreciate that he is honest and said, I touched it. Again, a tribute to his character that I've seen but nothing but great things out of him. Daniel, a little frustrated. He missed that shot a little bit wide. Tried to get it again, like we said, you want to get into Ben John's backhand if you can. Unfortunately, by doing that, he pulled it out a little wide.
8-4, we're going to switch ends, and how about the 8 coming from the north side? We didn't expect that. Johns and Yates.
Yeah, I think, like you said, maybe the wind kind of dying down. The whole court seems to be shadowed now. It's all. So, yeah, I think maybe the advantage is not quite as big as it was not even 20, 30 minutes ago.
So what adjustments do Moore and Wright make? Trailing here 8-4, got to get to 15.
I mean, that's a big thing, right? Because we've seen them kind of stick to this strategy where Matt is on that left side, Daniel on the right. Do they change it up, put Daniel on the left, maybe in front of Kyle some? I don't know, because Matt is so used to playing that left side. It's very rare that you ever see him on the right side.
I'm not sure I've ever seen him play the right side. I'm sure he can and is quite capable of it, but if you haven't been doing it much, it's just a different look at the ball. It's a different way you hit the shots. It can be different if you don't do it very often.
Yeah, especially at this moment, you know, gain of 15 for the TOC championship.
But I sometimes like to give somebody just a different look, just to give them a different look.
Yeah.
Your opponent's the different look. And if you're not winning,
It's true.
may not hurt.
Can't get worse.
Good job by Moore. Really able to turn that rally into an advantage. The side out.
I think Daniel's hoping for a little dribble over the net, but it wasn't quite high enough.
I think Daniel read that just a little off target there.
Jammed him a little more than he was expecting.
Yep.
I feel like Ben's one of the few guys you actually see switch. He actually did hit a two-handed backhand in there. I don't see that very often on the men's side. Rick Witzkin is one that uses a two-handed backhand frequently.
You're starting to see it more. Riley Newman. You know,
Riley Newman, another good call, yeah.
Tyler Leung a little bit more in singles, but you're starting to see a lot of guys kind of switch to it, especially on
Are you
defense.
saying they're copying off the women now? That's what I'm hearing
I
right
think
now.
so. I think we are realizing
that two-handed
that
backhand is highly effective.
Yeah, for us, it's we lose a little bit of reach, so we mainly use it on defense whenever we can kind of keep the paddle stable, especially when you have a big guy kind of hitting the ball hard at you.
So you feel it's just help stabilize that paddle head, keep you from popping the ball up as often. Whereas the women tend to use it on offensive and use it as a two-handed overhead backhand.
Yeah, if I could hit that shot, that'd be great. It's something that just looks so unnatural.
It seems super to me unnatural when I see guys doing it, but it looks so normal when the women are out there hitting it.
10-5-2.
10-5-2.
I often have people ask me about learning that shot, and I tend to be, it's tough to think out of hand unless it's what you did naturally in another sport in my mind.
Oh, wow.
What happened?
That was called out.
Oh, sir, did you see that?
I did not see it.
Oh, come on.
I did not see it.
So there's a question on the call here. The linesman called it out. Matt disagrees. Ben walked up and very kindly said, man, I really couldn't see it for sure. It was close.
Yeah, he said it was close. I thought it was out, but it was certainly close.
We've got an instant replay here.
Ben got it back regardless.
And I missed it. I needed to see it one more time, apparently. Let's see one more time. Yeah, we don't have the angle on our camera to see that. I think Ben looked and asked another spectator in the back, and they agreed it was out.
I think so.
So there's the side out.
There we go.
You can see they didn't let that snowball.
I think you're going to see Matt try to get a little more aggressive here now that they're down 11-5.
Agreed, like what we saw in the last game. He started hitting it a little bit harder. He tried to take over a little more.
Yep, he's going to really look to
And that can be effective, and it can also work not to your advantage if you don't let your partner play either. Nice hands on that. That's that backhand I love so much. Matt won it in there. I think he stepped on Daniel's foot in that point.
Yeah.
Let's see it in the replay here.
It's just remarkable because you talk about really advantage when you're able to get that down stroke on the paddle, and when you get those rallies at the no volley zone and they're just level. I mean, no one's lifting that ball. It's fun to watch that one into the net.
And that's what I was talking about. Matt is going for more, but again, it's kind of impacting Daniel's ability because he hasn't been doing that the whole match. So it's inconsistent and it's new movement for Daniel, who didn't know what to expect that. I think Daniel wanted to look around the post there, but didn't quite pull far enough out. Getting some net tips going, Ben and Kyle's way. That doesn't hurt when you're trying to win a match.
11-6-1.
Matt tried to defend the around the post that Kyle was about to hit. Just didn't work to his. It's a great maneuver, though. Got right up there, so you didn't have to wait on to get quite as low. But it's also tough to defend from there.
Yeah, I think he tried to kind of maybe make Kyle push it a little wider. Didn't work.
I feel like we've got a runaway right here. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's a great call on a timeout right now. That's got to be Moore and Wright making that call.
Yeah. Yeah, some emotion by Yates, and well deserved. It was a tall task at hand to try to get the gold medal. They're 2 points away. They've been really, really solid here in this gold medal match.
Yeah, I feel, I don't know, might be a little late for them. I think they should have switched and changed some stuff up earlier on. Daniel and Matt, you know, give Kyle and Ben a different look as they were kind of getting hot, especially earlier on in this game to 15.
Yeah, I agree. We talked about, you know, trying Matt on the other side, and I think that you do need to give Ben and Kyle a different look, just anything different, because they're so into a rhythm, so into a zone, that they really need to give him a different sort of look in my mind. It's 13-6. You got to do something different.
Maybe play straight up, not
right.
stacking.
Yeah,
just
don't
play
even
normal.
Stack.
Yeah,
Again,
that's
it.
Do a little more right now.
And I don't know that, you know, Daniel's got such a good shot there too. I don't know if that matters. I just think a different look. Make them hit the ball a different direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Coach Joey and Christine.
Second serve coming from Yates.
Great resets.
I always feel like a team's in trouble when they're both playing from halfway between the non-volley zone line, but somehow Kyle and Ben can still manage to get out of that.
That's a big part of the game right now. There you go.
Playing from right in that mid-court.
Yeah, you see, the better the player, the better they are at that mid-court area.
I know I've watched Simone Simone warms up, takes several shots from there. She practices that ball when she warms up.
14-6-2. Match point.
Now you think nerves are a factor?
I think you're going to see Kyle try to move the ball. Oh no, Matt read it. Barely missed it. What a great match.
15-6. Kyle Yates, Ben Johns come out of the consolation bracket and are able to defeat Moore and Wright to take the gold medal here in the men's double pro division.
Watching Kyle have a little celebration here at the end.
It's funny that Ben's not as happy as he's one of the first, actually the first man I've ever seen Triple Crown at in a big national event. This guy played unbelievable all weekend. Singles,
he did play
mixed,
unbelievable.
You know, men's doubles. Just an absolute monster when he's focused and on court there.
Joey, Christine, your final thoughts on our gold medal match, what we saw?
I think we saw, you know, Kyle and Ben show up like they were expected to, kind of get hot pretty early on. Matt and Daniel did a great job of taking the advantage of using that south side in game 2. I think they were a little late and, you know, maybe trying to change things up and give Ben and Kyle a different look, as they were just really seemed to be targeted on Daniel and keeping it on that right side and being very effective with it.
Yeah, it didn't even seem to enter their mind really to unstack or give them a different look. They just stuck with the same strategy and really didn't change it up. But I think all 4 of them played very, very well. We saw a lot of great offense, defense, and just some amazing pickleball overall. I know I enjoyed myself here, and I was very happy to get to sit here and watch with you guys and see this match.
It was a fun match. Great way to end this Tournament of Champions here in Brigham City, Utah. We've got the medal ceremony coming up next here from John A. Gullo Medal Court. All right, we're here at the Tournament of Champions, Tier 1 USAPA sanctioned tournament, John Gullo Medal Court for our men's double open pro medal ceremony. We want to thank Selkirk for being our presenting sponsor, and Paddle Tech and Pickleball Central for their gold level sponsorships as we announce our medal recipients. The bronze medal winners, Eric Lang and Steve Deacon.
Congratulations. Great tournament. Good.
And our silver medalists, Daniel Moore and Matt Wright. And the winners of the gold medals, Kyle Yates and Ben Johns. And with their gold medals, Kyle and Ben also receive a free pair of head footwear, the official shoe of the Tournament of Champions. And Ben and Kyle, before you go too far, John Gullo going to present you the Lannius Cup. We'll grab a quick interview with our gold medal winners. Kyle, Ben, wow, what a gritty championship match. You guys had to come out of that one-loss bracket, had to win 2 out of 3, and then a game to 15. Talk about the battle of that championship match.
Matt and Daniel are two of the toughest competitors you could ask for. Really, really tough players. We really knew we had to step it up after taking the first loss, and luckily Kyle really showed up to play, just grinded him out, and couldn't ask for a better partner.
I was going to ask about, because you guys, won game 1, lost game 2, then won game 3, and then the game to 15. Was there any mindset change or different attack for that third game in the game to 15?
Yeah, Ben told me just keep the ball in play and he'll hit all the winners. No, we just knew we had to have so much energy because they were going to bring it. Earlier in the day, I feel like they just totally outplayed us, and we said we need to step it up big time, or it's going to be a short night. So yeah, we just came to grind and brought more energy, and yeah, went the distance, 4 long games. How about that?
Yeah, it was a great way to cap off the tournament. Talk about this tournament week for each of you. Kyle, we'll start with you, and then Ben, we'll come to you.
First day I got 3rd in singles, which I was pretty proud about. Haven't been doing very well in singles, so I was pretty happy to get on the medal stand with that. It's tough to beat Ben. I think I lost to Ben, and then I lost to Tyson McGuffin, 2 best singles player in the world. So I felt pretty good about that. Mixed last night, if you guys were here, Ben Johns double dipped me, so he's the double dip specialist this weekend apparently. But I thought silver was a pretty good result, so I was pretty happy with that. Long, hot day, and then again, long, hot day again today. And I mean, we played the bronze medal team twice today, and the silver medal team 3 times today. So 5 matches against the 2nd and 3rd best teams in the draw. So we had a long weekend for sure.
Yeah, going to be some tired legs. Ben, first player ever to go Triple Crown in men's pro here at the Tournament of Champions. Special recognition. Talk about this week and what the experience has been like for you.
Well, I can't say I expected this, so it's a great way to cap off my summer before back to school. So really, I couldn't be any happier with the results. Obviously, couldn't have asked for better partners in mixed or men's. So yeah, I'm just ecstatic.
Congratulations to both of you on a gold medal.
Thank you.
Thanks.